So apparently torturing fat people is commercially viable and shit. So Jillian Michaels, once again, and thanks Psychic Outlaw Chanel for bringing this one to my attention. I did subscribe to her channel, though. It's, it's like one of them train wrecks you can't fucking look away from. But she is once again proving her ignorance on true long-term weight loss. She's still following her tried and true calories in, calories out dogma. Why? Why can't you just fucking get on board? I mean, it could only help you as a personal trainer, I would think, especially given your reputation of being an asshole to fat people to make them lose weight temporarily. Because they regain the fucking weight as soon as you're done with them, and then 6 months later they probably have to call you again to be able to fucking lose the weight that you fucking... You start them on this vicious cycle where they have to be lifelong fucking customers of yours. Why? Because calories in, calories out is fucking bullshit. Pure and simple bullshit. Your metabolism can shift plus or minus 1,000 fucking calories. And which way do you think your method has shifted them? Well, one doesn't need to look far. We can look at the very show that made you fucking famous, and that's The Biggest Loser. They did a study. Every one of the motherfuckers gained it back. And if they did keep it off, it was because they kept their calories down to 800 calories a day while doing thousands of calories of exercise so that they just couldn't lower their metabolism any further. Meanwhile, they're suffering miserably. They're hungry. They're unhappy. But they look good. Not to mention the unhealthiness of the foods. You know, calories in, calories out allows you to eat whatever the fuck you want to eat, regardless of its effect on your metabolism, your liver, your hormones, your insulin sensitivity. And yeah, you could probably look good doing your method, but it's not going to stop you from getting fucking diabetes, heart disease, depression, anxiety, allergies, autoimmune illness, and the tons of other illnesses associated with the standard American diet foods. Because your method says, hey, as long as you're counting calories and going to the gym, you're fucking good to go. It's not how it works. Or you push them into the whole foods, which is good. That's better than the standard American diet, but our whole foods are fucked up. They're a shadow of what they once were. So let's just take a look at what Jillian Michaels has to say. And I'm already triggered. I haven't even fucking brought the video up. This is my life now. Doing triggered videos for YouTube that'll probably get demonetized and deranked.
About intermittent fasting. So let's talk about it.
Oh, I already am triggered. I don't know what it is about you, Jillian, but your very attitude and facial expressions trigger the fuck out of me. I can feel the condescending oozing off of you.
First thing we have to address is, what does fasting actually mean? So a lot of people make the mistake of thinking fasting is synonymous with not eating or dramatically reducing your calories, which it isn't. Fasting is simply a period of time where you're not eating.
And how long do you think that time should be? My guess is you don't know. But you're still going to throw around some interesting buzzwords. You did read something. You didn't understand it, but you fucking read it.
It doesn't mean you're eating less, which isn't a bad thing if you're trying to lose weight, but it's a very separate issue, okay? So intermittent fasting has been around for thousands and thousands of years.
It's been around for millions of years. Sorry to correct your infallible fucking knowledge again, but it's been around more than thousands of years. Hunter-gatherers were intermittent fasting as a way of life. Because you didn't get to fucking eat every day. You didn't have fucking gyms and personal trainers and fucking Walmarts and grocery stores. You had none of that shit. Get your facts straight. I mean, when you look at the like ratio on this fucking video, I gotta zoom it in. You're getting ratioed a little bit here. This should cause you to research a little bit better. And I only pick on you because of what you've done to fat people over the years and tortured them on TV for ratings and money. And I'm not a fan by any stretch of the word. I could be a fan if you educated yourself, admitted you're wrong about this, and taught people how to lose weight in a sustainable, healthy way instead of eat less, move more. Eat less, move more fails 98% of the time long term. It's great when you fucking do it in the beginning, and it looks good. You lose lots of weight. But over time, it starts coming back because you tank your metabolism. You've repeatedly demonstrate you have no fundamental understanding of the endocrine system, of our hormones, and how our body stores and utilizes our calories. You still are operating on this basic fucking nutritionist level that has gotten us this largest obesity rate, the most lucrative weight loss market of all time, and has fully filled our hospitals with unhealthy, sick individuals who are giving their entire life fucking savings to the pharmaceutical industry. But hey, that's not what's important, is it? It's all about the weight loss. Here's a hint. If you eat a healthy ketogenic diet and you do regular intermittent fasting, you will be healthy, and as a symptom of becoming healthy, you will lose weight. Will you be an Advil? No. But you'll go into the doctor and he'll pat you on the back and say, you're not going to fucking die today. You're good to go. See you next year. That's all I want to hear when I go in for my fucking checkup, which I'm required to do. I wouldn't do it otherwise, in order to maintain my health coverage. But, you know, you could give no fucks about any of that. Otherwise, you would realize just from the comments and the like ratio that you are just full of shit. But YouTube likes you. We can tell. Anytime I talk about you, I get a boost. It's not the kind of content I typically like to do, but hey, I want to get through to you because I know you have clients. I know you still do this to people repeatedly. And then by the time they figured out that it didn't work, you're long gone. They regain the weight and they blame themselves. It's all their fault that they regain the weight, and I'm sure that's how you come at it. It's not their fault because you gave them bad advice. You're telling them the wrong things to do to lose weight and keep it off. I've lost weight, kept it off, and I don't even fucking look at the gym. Imagine that. Do I look like a fucking Thomas DeLauer? No. Had to get a little dig in Thomas DeLauer there. But at the same time, when I walk in the doctor at age 44, the doctor's like, hey, you're good to go. He even extended it to a year and a half. I didn't have to have another checkup for a year and a half. I guess that's the maximum time for my health plan. That's good fucking news when you're 44 years old. Especially when you look like fucking Sid Haig.
Actually called breakfast, otherwise known as breaking the fast. Now, what is intermittent fasting good for? It's good for immunity, anti-aging, and overall health. And the reason is because when we create a period of the day where we're not eating,
I'm
right?
glad that you're saying this, but you're still missing the point.
When we create a period of the day where we're not eating, and a day is 24 hours, right? So overnight is going to be the best period of time to do that. You're freeing your body up to do housekeeping. And there's some real fancy terms for this called autophagy, right? Which is
And it should be noted that you need to do more than skip breakfast to get to autophagy. If you truly want to hit autophagy regularly and quickly, you need to be keto and fat adapted and then fast. It'll make the fasting easier. You can do it for longer periods of time. And yeah, you'll clean up the mess. I'm glad you figured that part out. And maybe that'll allow you to tell people to fast. But you get to a point that I agree with you on for a different reason. So there's the surprise. Is there something she says in this that I agree with?
It's a process where the body culls dead and senescent tissue. Some of it gets reused, some of it gets flushed out.
And I don't even think that you read a book. I think you read a blog article based on the knowledge you're parroting here.
A thing called apoptosis, which has to do with cells dying and reproducing and replicating themselves.
Yes, it's called programmed cell death, and it's generally something that cells do to recycle, their amino acids and various other things so that you can regenerate new cells. It's part of autophagy. But you don't get there unless you've probably in the post 24 to 48 hour of fasting. You need at least 48 hours before you even start autophagy. And autophagy is turned off by an insulin spike. And also, if you consume protein or carbohydrates, autophagy is kicked off. That is where fat fasting comes in. If you're fat fasting and not consuming protein or carbohydrates, even though you're taking in calories, you're still going to lose weight. Pound a day, and you're still going to hit autophagy. This has been researched by Walter Longo. And I've tested out this myself and done a 5 and a 7 day fat fast and lost a pound a day, which is almost the same as a water fast. Which tells me that, yeah, I'm using my body fat. But there's a caveat to losing weight this way.
We don't even need to get into it. I wrote a whole book about it with a bunch of scientists called the...
Well, which scientists? What book did you read? How about some fucking links and shit? I have to fucking tell people what I'm talking about and my sources. I'm even citing you here in the video. Go subscribe to Jillian Michaels in case you want to torture yourself in the gym and while eating a fucking rabbit starvation diet.
Just trust me, it benefits your body's immunity and your anti-aging. Helps you stay younger.
Just trust me. Nobody trusts you. Nobody trusts me. I don't ask them to. I make I make people think. I make people do their own homework. I make people do their own research to learn about the body. I'm not going to trust you, and nobody should be trusting you. They should be digging further than the advice you give.
Longer, right? Because it's optimizing those two processes amongst other things, and it's freeing your body
I'm
up.
almost at this point convinced Jillian Michaels does this just to troll us. At this point, she just wants to trigger us so that we talk about her, so that she remains relevant.
To focus on that, whereas your metabolic pathways, which are the pathways in your body that sense nutrients. So carbohydrates and protein in particular get sensed by these metabolic pathways, and they slow down your body's housekeeping because they're so busy going, oh my gosh, we have all these nutrients. They're coming in.
That's not why. There's something called epigenetics, genes that get turned on and off. And there are certain genes that get turned on when you consume food and protein. And the amino acids that are broken down are present. It's a process by which you're switching between survival mode and being well fed. When you're well fed, you don't need to be in survival mode. When you're not eating, you kick in this survival mode. It is a I know that's kind of a shitty way of calling it, but your body begins to utilize its own fat. It recycles its own cells for amino acids. It produces glucose through gluconeogenesis by breaking down glycerol and certain amino acids from tissue that it deems you do not need. Usually damaged tissue is probably the first to go. Lean mass loss during a longer fast is fairly minimal and easily rebuilt within a week or two of the refeed. You'll rebuild any of the lean mass you lost if you are exercising and whatever form of exercise you were doing prior to the fast. As long as your physical activity is roughly the same as it was before the fast, you'll regain the lean mass you had prior to the fast. That's because fasting is only half the battle. The refeed is the important part. You got to understand that this is a mode that has allowed us to survive as a species through many a famine, many a period without food, many a natural disaster. Things that would have wiped us out if we were calories in, calories out carb burners, like you think we are. We wouldn't survive. If we had to consume carbohydrates and a specific amount of calories every day, we would have died off long ago. So, and I'm not a fucking expert. I don't, propose that I am. I'm telling you, I know more than you on fasting and long-term weight loss. You might know a little bit more about pounding the fuckmaster than I do. Going into the gym, fucking working out, building some gains. And I don't begrudge you that. But when it comes to torturing obese individuals by throwing them on treadmills and just beating on them in the gym while telling them to eat 800 or less calories a day, well, we did that once. It was called the Minnesota Starvation Experiment. Maybe you need to go back and read up on how that worked, because that was not fasting. That was eat less, move more on a Biggest Loser scale done to people of normal body weight. So Jillian Michaels needs to do her fucking homework already.
Constantly and so often that we need to focus on breaking these foods down, and it doesn't get into autophagy or housekeeping in the way that it could or should. So intermittent fasting.
And if you're consuming just fat, you still go into autophagy at about the same amount of time. As your glycogen stores start to deplete, autophagy starts to kick in. Why? Because your body is using the resources of recycling those cells to produce the amino acids necessary to A, transform into our minimal glucose requirement. We don't need to eat carbs. Our bodies can make the shit and always are making the shit. We always have gluconeogenesis going on, and it's a demand-driven function of the liver. So you just need to do your fucking homework, Jillian Michaels, instead of talking out of your ass and then coming on here with your shirt that's showing way too much shit. Just to say, hey, look at me. If you do what I do, you're going to look like this. So if we look at Jillian Michaels, she was at age 13, weighed 170 pounds. This is her transformation. She was eating pretty much the standard American diet and doing what we all do early in life. She's tried the low-fat diet. Apparently that didn't work out. She eats whole foods and real foods. I agree. This is what you should do. We might disagree on the composition of those whole foods, but at the very least, this will cause you benefits, long-term benefits, just by switching this part of your diet, not looking at calories. Just eating this way will cause weight loss. You could go vegan and you'll lose the weight. You'll also have some other problems, some health issues, but you'll lose the weight and keep it off as long as you stay vegan. I'm not talking about standard American vegan. I'm talking about Whole Foods vegan. If you're Whole Foods vegan, you're gonna lose weight to the point where you look emaciated. So, no dispute there. But here's the key on why she looks the way she does. It isn't because of necessarily her dietary choices. She is calorie restricting constantly. I guarantee you she is hungry all the time, even though she's doing intermittent fasting. She does 13 to 14 hours of fast. That's below the minimum recommended fasting, by the way. 16 and 8 is the lowest form of fasting. Anything less than that isn't really fasting. It's pretty much eating 3 meals a day at that point. I don't know how many meals, but let's see. Is she doing 1 meal a day? Usually eat around 7 p.m. I'll have coffee when I wake up. The next day I'll break my fast around 9 a.m., but you don't eat like crap during those remaining 10 hours or so. Here's what I tend to eat throughout the day. Breakfast, low-fat Greek yogurt with sliced bananas and crushed almonds on top. So, yeah, we're looking at 3 meals a day here. Well, guess what? 3 meals a day is a recent phenomenon, and it benefits industry, does not benefit weight loss long term. And in order to counterbalance, which I'm not seeing a lot of fat calories in here, and you're clearly not eating sugary shit, so you're not getting enough calories even for your basal metabolic rate here. And then you're going to the gym. But I only do it for 4.5 hours per week. So for 4.5 hours a week, probably spread out between multiple days, you're going to the gym. And you're not eating enough fucking calories. So yeah, you are permanently eating less and moving more. And I would bet that you're hungry and miserable. This is my opinion. I might be wrong. But I would bet that you're hungry, miserable, and having a host of other health issues that you're probably not going to publicize because of your career. So I'm glad that you're kind of on board with intermittent fasting, but you are still a Padawan learner when it comes to fasting.
Fasting is really good for those things, right? Staying your most healthy, vital self for as long as possible, boosting immunity, but it isn't actually good for weight loss. That's just not true. The only thing that works for
now, I kind of agree. The first 46 pounds I lost, or 50 pounds, somewhere in there, was entirely through fasting alone. And it was because of the metabolic issues I was having, the increased appetite, the constant hunger, that I became keto and went the rest of the way. Keto was the missing component to fasting and weight loss. So, she's not right for the reason she thinks she's right. She's right in that fasting alone will not get you there and keep you there long term. You have to change the kinds of foods you are eating. Whole foods at the very least. So you could follow her formula, spend 4 to 5 hours of your life in the gym every week while eating less every day than your basal metabolic rate allows, based on what I'm seeing there on her little typical day of eating. She is not getting enough calories to cover her physical activity, and she's doing this chronically for years. Gotta love the fucking discipline there, but that's a miserable life. You can go keto, eat till you're full, never really think about food, naturally fast, because you're not hungry very often. And when you do eat, you eat enough calories to cover your fucking whatever you burned off, because your appetite becomes self-regulating at that point. Your body takes care of it. If she went keto, she would probably eat 1 meal a day, based on what I'm seeing there. I don't know. We'll never know, because she hates keto.
weight loss is calories in, calories out.
No. Anybody who's read Jason Fung's work has the basic understanding of this. It is not as simple as calories in, calories out. What those calories are made of are more important. I do not gain weight when I overeat calories. Why? Because I am keto. My metabolism ramps up when I overeat. I have been stuck at this weight for a long time, despite if I overeat. If I overeat, my metabolism shoots up, I got energy bubbling out of my ass, and I fucking am sweating like a motherfucker all the time. It interrupts my sleep sometimes because I wake up sweating on the days when I know I overate. And at the same time, on the days I undereat, I get cold, I get hungrier more often, I get lethargic, things slow down. Our bodies manage our energy expenditure. You cannot sit there with a fucking MyFitnessPal calculator and figure this shit out. And I can tell you her metabolism is entirely tanked. Because she is not feeding her workouts properly. She is doing this rigid way of eating to maintain her weight and plowing through it. Gotta love the willpower. I'm not saying she doesn't have any fucking willpower, but she's plowing through that willpower aspect of it and ignoring the increased hunger levels, and at the same time having to continue the same permanent workout change. If you thought you were going to go to the gym for 6 weeks and lose weight, nope. If you thought you were going to fast and lose weight permanently, nope. During the first 72 hours of a fast, your metabolism ramps up. After 72 hours of fasting, it starts to drop. Once it drops, it tanks. You will still lose weight while you're fasting. But when you come out of that fast, your appetite is going to be increased, your metabolism is going to be down. And if you go back to eating the standard American diet, your metabolism will not ramp back up. And you will regain every last pound that you lost during the fast. So I agree that fasting is not a long-term weight loss tool. It's for cleaning up your mess, regenerating your cells, undoing some of the damage you're doing by eating shitty foods. That's it. So, does the way she's doing it work? Only if you do it. Constantly. If something happens, you can't go to the gym no more, you're going to get fat again. If something happens and you can't eat whole foods, maybe you're in a food desert and you can't get all of those healthy whole foods all the time, you're going to regain the weight. If you're a carb burner and you overeat, even if you're eating whole foods, say you eat 20 bananas along with your fucking salads and your lean meats, you're going to gain weight. It's really that simple. You can fight it consciously. You can will yourself to not overeat. You can count those calories and keep your intake down by 800, but I guarantee you, you're fucking your metabolism. And you will have to do that to maintain your weight loss. Whatever you're doing has to be lifelong. And if you think you're just going to go pound the fuck master, good luck to you. Because the moment you can't, the weight's going to come back. And the entire time you're doing that, you're going to be hungry, miserable, not to mention all the other hosts of problems. I don't want to turn this into a big glyphosate food thing. But let's just say our agriculture sucks. And I don't know, looking at the diet she's recommending, I see pretty much a lean whole foods diet without a lot of fat, which means that's probably where the caloric restriction's really coming into play. Like, this is maybe 300 calories here, maybe 400. You know, I mean, let's kind of guesstimate based on her menu here. See, breakfast, low-fat Greek yogurt, that's about, 200 calories. Sliced bananas, Probably a single banana, so that's what, 180 calories-ish. Crushed almonds. Okay, you're getting a little bit of fat in there. Depends on how much, but apparently as a garnish. So that's probably I want to say 300 to 400 calorie breakfast. It's about what I do and fat in my coffee. A chicken veggie burrito with black beans but no rice. So that's kind of low carb, but it's also low fat, which means you're not getting a lot of calories. So I'd say that's another 200 calories-ish, maybe 300 calories without the rice. The rice would boost your caloric intake, that's for sure. Mediterranean salad. So is this what you want to do? Is this how you want to live your life? Eat this way and go to the gym for 4.5 hours every week to look like Jillian Michaels while being hungry all the time, while having a decreased metabolism, getting cold, forcing yourself to live this way? We've all done it. We know that this is true. When you do this method, you will be hungry, you will be miserable, but you'll lose the weight. And the second that you crack, that your willpower caves in because your metabolism's dropped, you're not taking care of your body, you're not feeding it properly, eventually your willpower is going to give and you're going to regain the weight. She has a very serious accountability thing going on. I mean, she makes her living because of the fact that she lost the weight and the fact that, she's looks the way she does. She makes a living off of this. She is motivated to get in that gym and to not overeat. And as a consequence, I believe, is suffering for it. She probably won't admit it, but anyone that's done what she's doing will know what I'm talking about here.
Doesn't matter how healthy the food is. The quality of your food has to do with fighting off disease, staying younger longer, boosting endurance. But ultimately, a calorie is a unit of energy.
So that's where I'm going to stop. You can finish her video on, just Google Jillian Michaels, pops right up. She ranks on her own videos. It's awesome. It's always good. What it boils down to is calories in, calories out. Does not work. Fasting is a weight loss aid or a supplement, but it is not the end-all be-all of weight loss. You can get pulled into this cycle of constantly fasting. Eat less, move more all the time. And there's really not much else to say about it. It's a great supplement to a ketogenic diet. Ultimately, if you want we've been doing it the way she suggests for years, and how has that worked out for us? Some people are able to sustain living that lifestyle of being in the gym all the time and under eating all the time. There's a better way. A way that doesn't require any real effort other than not eating the standard American diet. A way where you feel satiated, where food doesn't dominate your every thought. Where you don't have to meticulously count calories. All you have to do is make sure you eat ketogenically. And you will say goodbye to hunger, say goodbye to cravings. Your weight will drop to a healthier level. And yes, you could take it a step further and pound the fuck master every day, 5 days a week, and probably sculpt yourself to Advil. There are those that do it. If that's your thing, more power to you. I am, I guess, the same age as Jillian Michaels. I'd say she looks way better than I do. That's for sure. But we're not here for a fucking aesthetics contest, are we? There's plenty of good-looking people that don't live their full, healthy lives, that go to an early grave, that suffer heart disease, diabetes, autoimmune illness, cancer. These are all things that obesity is just a symptom of, to be honest with you. And if you fix your health, you will notice a dramatic transformation. And I've seen it. I've seen it repeatedly from my audience on YouTube. I've seen it from the people who have gone keto and stuck with it in my life, including my own mother, has lost tons of weight and is 10 times healthier than she was a year ago. And she's not fasting at all. She's just eating keto. So, fasting can aid, and I am also a proponent of it, obviously. But it is not the only tool that you need to use if you want to lose weight and be healthy. Neither is the gym. You don't need to go to the gym to lose weight and be healthy. There's other benefits, don't get me wrong. Go for a walk. You don't have to pay your monthly membership fee or your consultation fee to the personal trainer if you just go for a fucking walk regularly. I do that. Hiking. And I've gotten pretty good at it. It doesn't require lots of effort. I'm not exhausted after 8 or 9 miles now like I used to be. But to each their own. What the fuck do I know? 'Cause I'm not a fucking expert. I didn't torture fat people on Biggest Loser. I didn't do any of that. I'm just some asshole that lost a bunch of weight, cleared up a lot of health issues, and is living his life trying to share that knowledge with people around me who struggled the way I did and who did eat less, move more for a long period of time. Believe me, the military was beating the shit out of me with that shit. And I still got fat. Why? Because it's not sustainable long term. Metabolic drop, calories in, calories out is horseshit. So, if you like this video and you found it enlightening and you want me to make more videos, head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and leave a tip in the virtual tip jar for every $20 received. I will make another video, up to 4 videos a week. Anything over that is a tip. Cutoffs are on Sunday. And you can also hit the like and subscribe button, but I don't think YouTube gives a shit about that, and it's just there for our amusement at this point. I don't think it really affects anything and who gets to see our videos. But I'll talk about that in my podcast, which, if you're watching this on DLive, will be next. This is just a video premiere. And, yeah. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. Jillian Michaels. Read some more books. Talk to Jason Fung. Hell, talk to Dr. Lustig. He'll probably agree with you on some shit. He's not a fasting guy either. But I'm glad to see you're fasting. You need to add a few more hours to it. You need to probably go OMAD and add some fat into your diet, because I don't see enough fat coming in. You're on that low-fat, high-carb bullshit. That's a miserable life. I'm telling you. It's a miserable life. There's a better way. And if you were to switch, I'd be your biggest fan, to be honest with you, because I do respect somebody who doesn't stick to their dogma and admits they were wrong, like Tim Noakes, for example. He did the lore of running. He's right up your alley. And he admitted he was wrong. And has completely changed and reversed his own diabetes. So, have a nice motherfucking day. Even you, Jillian. Just don't torture any more fat people. It's okay. You don't need to do that. Stop torturing them. What'd they ever do to you? You apparently were one of us. Don't torture people. Stop. Just teach them. Teach them how to change their ways. And when they want to, they'll do it. When they're tired of feeling sick, tired of being obese, they'll change their ways. But give them something that they can do sustainably. That's just my thoughts. Have a nice motherfucking day and shit.